Wellness Show, episode 195. Welcome to the Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson Banighen, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Today we're going to be interviewing Batista Gremaud, and we're talking about the esoteric principles of bodybuilding. I'm very excited about this topic because, guess what? In the last few days, I've actually been in the gym. I haven't been there since I was 20 years old. So this was a preliminary to get ready to have this this conversation, because I wanted to know what was we're really going to talk about and what does it feel like to be back in the gym. So how about introducing yourself and telling us a bit about who you are and who's Stephen and what's this all about anyway?
Okay, so I am Batista, and originally I was a flamenco dancer and a ballet dancer. So I grew up in the arts. My mother was a ballet dancer, my father was a mime. So my passion was always working with the body and aspiring to do more with the body, to break the limitations of the body. I ended up making a career as a dancer, as a hobby. What I always liked was meditation and esoteric, the esoteric world, metaphysical science. I spent many years studying different modalities such as Kabbalah, Gnosis, shamanism. It was just a great passion of mine. So basically what happened to me is one day I was in about my mid-40s. I was in a meditation class. And it's like I woke up from some type of a deep sleep, and I looked around and I saw a lot of wonderful people, my friends, with whom I'd spent, many years meditating and exploring the inner world and this whole world. And I looked around and I saw that most of the people in the room were now middle-aged, out of shape, and, with aches and pains, and me too. I had a lot of injuries from dancing, and I was in a point where I felt like my body was going down. So something didn't make sense. I saw that there was a missing link. There was something that was missing in the topic of body, mind, spirit integration, because one of the things that we always learned in all the spiritual practices that I had studied was about integrating the body with the mind and the spirit. It was about grounding the body. It was all about integration, right? And I think that's all what we all aspire to really do that. And in my mind, it was like, well, what's wrong with this picture? Because here we are grounding the body, we are aspiring for this integration. And so how come everybody's out of shape and we're all in pain and we're just, it was missing. And because I was a dancer, because I was a performer, I was working with my body, and the idea of seeing my body go down like this was kind of like very scary, because it meant like losing my job, basically the way of earning my income, right? Because I worked with my body. So I created a whole intention, and I invited all my friends and my meditation group to my studio, where I was holding meditation groups, and we made mock-up boards. And I figured I know enough about manifesting, about the power of thoughts, that I know I can manifest something in my life that will change this and give me my body back. So that's what we did. We created like a ceremony, and this whole thing. And the very next day, I met Dr. Fitness USA. So it was
Wow.
it was like instant manifestation, right? So sometimes I say, we put out there what we want, right? But it doesn't always come in the way we expect it,
Well, no, he looks pretty good to me. He looks like a good delivery service.
Oh yeah, it turned out very good, okay? But I didn't expect this to come in the way of this bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But sometimes when we pray for something, we have to be open to receive, even though it doesn't appear in the way of what we expect,
Well, let me just jump in and say, I've been working esoterically with my body for quite an extended period of time, almost 2 years now. And, I've lost a lot of weight. From 275, I'm down to, 245. So I've come a long way, but I've sort of been on a plateau. So for me, I was running out of opportunities. I'm a vegetarian. I cut my food by 50%. I was walking every second day, blah, 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 blah. So, you get hold of me. So you are doing the same thing. You're reaching out to me, and you're what I'm asking for my next step to manage what I want to do, get off this plateau. So I find it really interesting that how the synchronicity is, flowing for you and for me. And here we're both meeting Stephen, and I'm thinking, well, what do I want to do with going back to a gym? I haven't been in a gym since I was 20 years old. What the heck does this have to do with it? But you caught my attention, and I understood that you had a bigger message, that you're coming from a very similar place than me. And so that got me excited. So continue your story. I just wanted to show you we're on the same page.
Synchronicity. Yeah. So that's great that you realize that, because sometimes people ask for something and then it comes and then they don't see that that's what they were asking for, right? So I'm glad that you're on that page. So yeah, so for me, growing up as a dancer, and my parents were very, very Catholic, and they're all, but esoteric Catholic, kind of like this. There was in my upbringing, there was a lot of paranormal things that happened, like apparitions and visions and things like this that happened in my home, and we were always. The topic was always about this thing about bringing heaven on earth, and I at that crossroad in my life where I found myself, really at a crossroad with this body, mind, spirit integration, and meeting Stephen, I was really it kind of opened my mind to the possibility of something more, than just fitness, because that's basically what I was asking, because I was already fit. I was already fit, I was already doing everything. I was, as a dancer, you have to be fit, you have to be healthy. I was already doing yoga and Pilates, stretching, all the meditation, but yet my body was still falling apart. And so what happened is, when I started speaking with Stephen, what happened is his communication, his message was actually something that I had never heard before. Okay. And it was kind of a dichotomy. It seemed contradictory what he was talking about, but he caught my attention because he was telling me about strength training. We're talking about bodybuilding, basically, right? Lifting weights. And first of all, I was terrified of it because I had a lot of injuries. So the idea of lifting weight, it was not in my consciousness. I didn't know that lifting weight could actually heal my injuries, or I could not lift a pound of anything without my back hurting, I had a frozen shoulder. So first of all, I didn't know about bodybuilding. I thought it was for big bodybuilders and bulky people, and I was a dancer. I didn't want that. But in this conversation, he was talking about women, that he was teaching women never to do anything that is uncomfortable. So how does that work with not doing anything that's uncomfortable? If I'm going to lift weight, that seems pretty uncomfortable, right? And he was talking, it just didn't make sense. He was talking about merging the male and the female energy in the body through working out. It's like, what does that mean? I understand now but it was fascinating because I didn't get it, right? So I've always been open to learning. That's my passion. I always like to learn. So I listened and I listened and I listened. And so then I decided, okay, I'm just going to do this because that's what I prayed for. And I don't understand it, but I'm going to do it because I prayed for it. So here it is.
Right.
So I hired him, and so he put together a system for me. I worked with him personally. In those days, he was still doing that more, now not so much anymore. But surprisingly enough, in the first 20 minutes of that first session in a gym. And that's me injured, right? With a backache, everything wrong. I was actually leg pressing 350 pounds with no pain, and in the first session, I was actually chest pressing 25 pounds dumbbells. That's heavy, Yeah. With no pain. And within a couple of weeks, no more back pain, gone. And with a couple of months, all my injuries started disappearing. I got very curious. Okay, what's happening here? I got very curious. And that started the journey for me of researching and always trying to make the connections. Why does it work? How does it happen? And, what does it do to the brain? Why? And so I started researching. I started writing about it. As a matter of fact, I realized that there's so many misconceptions in the world of fitness. Then the first books that I've written was kind of just to dispel the myth, like the aerobic myth. And there's so many myths, that people are really spinning their wheels, doing things that are just pretty much kind of counterproductive and totally counterproductive. But now I'm in a point where I really want to start making all these connections with my esoteric background and connect the dots, because I know that by experience, I know that when you work in this way, by realigning the spine, correcting muscular imbalances, the grounding principle, fitness is all about doing more, no pain, no gain, push. If you work with a personal trainer or you work on your own, or, a lot of people, it's always about trying to do more. That's all male energy. Okay, the fitness industry is based on male energy. Okay, so what I've learned, and it is so true, and it is profound. Okay, I think this is one of the most profound things that I've learned through this system. When you learn to work from the female energy, which is empowering, which is receiving, then you can actually quiet the mind, strengthen the nervous system, and give the body a place to heal. Okay, so it's a total different way of going about the fitness industry. And once you can strengthen the nervous system, quiet the mind, and do these things, then you can heal injuries, you can heal your mind, you can stop depression, you know. So that's one of the most profound part of this system. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenging, you know. We are because we are also moving forward. There's always a point where we want to break through self-limited belief, but that's what it is. It's not always doing more and pushing more. It's breaking through limiting beliefs, because we are. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, tell me because I'm trying to grasp this. I get it. I'm coming from the divine feminine and the masculine, and the masculine is pushing, you know, no pain, no gain, and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so now I'm sitting there, you know, I'm about to do, you know, a leg press.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an attitudinal adjustment that you're talking about? Like, do I have to be actually thinking about doing it differently when I'm doing the exercise than if I came from a male perspective? Is it actually differently way to approach it? Or explain to me, how do you move from the male dominant, let's get this done, push mentality, into the female, where you're receptive and open and your muscles can be stretched and relaxed and the healing can occur? Can you say more about that?
Yeah. So the first thing that crossed my mind with this question is, for example, okay, so you went to the gym, okay?
I certainly did.
And if you don't mind me taking you as an example, since you ask, okay? So you went to the gym and the program is set up so that you can be in and out of the gym in 45 minutes, all right? So, of course, the first time you would go, it would take maybe a little longer because you need to locate the equipment. You need to, you know, there's a little more things, okay? But really, the program is set up so it can be done quickly, efficiently, and very powerfully. So, and I haven't talked to you yet about the experience, but when you emailed me back, you said that you spent 2 hours and 50 minutes and you went ahead and did aerobics before and after.
That's correct.
There you go. Performance mode. I'm going to go to the gym and now I'm there. I'm going to do a little more. You know what I'm saying? That
was the trainer. That was the trainer. I said, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I need you to help me. Well, he says, this is what you have to do. You have to be on the treadmill to warm up for 15. So I'm just telling you my experience,
okay,
right?
Okay, exactly. So I'm glad you're saying this because that's what trainers do.
Yes.
That's what trainers do. That's why we don't work. We don't. Exactly my point. That's what trainers do. Yeah. You didn't hire a trainer. You hired us. If you had a question, your job was to contact us, you know, Facebook, whatever, and say, okay, what do I do? And we would have told you what to do. We don't work like trainers. It's completely different. And that's my point. That's performance. Okay? Your job was to take the program, to watch the video, to see which equipment you had, to go into the gym, check the equipment, make sure it's not rusted or whatever, sit in the machine, go, oh, that feels okay, I can do this. Let me see, what's my weight? How much can I do comfortably? Do the weight, mark it down, and follow the sequence of sets and reps. Each exercise is very specifically noted. You do 8 reps, 3 sets of 8 reps, 3 sets of 8 reps, and like 2 sets of 4. Each exercise is formatted because it's a prescription, okay?
Right.
So that was the job, to go sit in the machine, try it, and mark down where you're in your weights so that we can look at it and then we can start putting the piece of the puzzles together. That's the prescription, and that's how we move from one piece to the next. And when you do that, then you will have that 20 to 50% strength increase. You're going to start feeling your body grounded. You see, one of the first principles of this program is grounding the body.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. That's what I teach everybody. If you're not grounded, you're not in your body. If you're not grounded, you're going to be running higher energy. It's like having 220 volts going through 110 ground. You know, it's not going to work.
And think about it. When you're on the treadmill, like, you know, you go to your leg press. Now you've done 20 minutes, half an hour of treadmill beforehand. Does that really ground your body? No, it doesn't. You know, as a matter of fact, it's going to tire you. It's going to tire your joints. It's not even a warm-up. It's just, actually, we don't teach that. You know, we teach that, we just don't teach that. When you go to the gym to do your strength training activity, you do strength training. You don't do aerobics, and you don't even stretch. You can stretch afterwards, not before, because you want to get into the movement, into the strength training. You want to get into it strong, focused, and grounded. And so, you know, the exercises and the sequence of exercises are put together in a way where you are warming up as you do it. So you don't have to worry about that, you know? And, right. And of course, on the first day, you know, you don't do too much weight, you know, you take it easy, you test the machine, so you're not, risking injuries or anything like this. But we don't teach doing any aerobics before strength training, and that's exactly what trainers do, and that's performance mode. Perfect example. So instead, what you do is you get focused. One thing that surprised me also is that you mentioned that you were going to go to the gym that day, and then, like, all of a sudden you didn't know which gym it was. So you... Yeah,
I couldn't find the message that you'd sent me. So so anyway, you got, and it was my computer crashed, and I thought, I got to redo my computer, and I had a million reasons why not to go to the gym. Like, I had everything showing up my life, don't go to the gym. And I said, no, I'm going to do this interview. I have to go to the gym. No excuses. It doesn't matter what's going on. Well, maybe this is a performance attitude, but I just blocked out everything, and I got in the car. Even though I was frustrated, I'm going to the gym. So that's how I ended up at the gym.
Yeah. So that's a perfect, and that's good. Okay. I appreciate that you did. But a better way to do it, maybe, would have been to a couple of days before, to check out the address, check out your route, you know, and with a little more preparations.
Well, so I did do that. I did look at the gym beforehand. I just couldn't remember the name of it and find the email because the computer crashed. But I did check it out and listen to all their videos and got a sense of who they are and how they work with their clients and all of that stuff. And, you know, and saw that they had a huge network of gyms all over the United States. Yes, so it felt pretty comfortable because I didn't want to go to just any old gym, right? So I did do that homework. I didn't know, I couldn't find the email to find out exactly which gym it was. And I have to say, I did like them in the gym, although, like you said, they got me onto a totally different program than what you wanted to do. But, you know, it was okay as a start. So let's get focused and get back onto the program. And that'll be good. Yeah, because I do have to say, you know,
as a matter of fact,
it was pretty exhausting.
We don't want that. We don't want that. As a matter of fact, you know, when we work with clients, we have an agreement, a signed agreement, where we explicitly, and the people actually put their initial, we explicitly tell them that and warn them that personal trainers are going to come, they're going to tell them that they're doing maybe the wrong way, suggest other ways, and we emphasize that, and we make the person initial the fact that they need to really stay focused and grounded and follow the instruction that we give them, because it's a prescription and we know it works. And so there.
Great. So let's move on.
Yes.
And let's talk about the fact that, you know, you really got interested because of your background in dancing, flamenco and all that. you really got focused on working with women over 40. You looked around that gym and you've looked around where you've trained, and you just saw all these people that were uncomfortable and not getting, particularly women, they weren't getting the results that you wanted. You knew from an esoteric point of view there needed to be something other way to do it. So now, if I understand you correctly, that's the thing that you have the most passion for, is working with women over 40. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And the reason being is because I am over 40, and I know the challenges that women over 40 experience, because I have gone through it, and I have a soft spot for that, but I also have the experience, so I can, it's something that's very comfortable for me to talk about, and I can help women over 40 very, very nicely, because I have a lot of empathy. I can understand the process, but I also understand the self-limiting belief, and I walked the path, I walked the talk. So it's something, and I see the result and what it can be, and I'm very passionate about see the transformation happen when somebody follows this route, and then all of a sudden they literally end up with a new lease on life, because that's what happens.
Right. Yeah, that's very exciting. I mean, coming out of the gym and having pain in my back, but esoterically knowing that in order to do the next step in my own spiritual evolution, I have to readjust my back, which means I have to loosen the muscles in my back to have the spine straighten out in a new way. Yeah. And so, I mean, I understand all these principles, but I certainly wasn't getting that result from what I was led to do or asked to do in the gym. I was in a lot more pain, but I do know that stretching of the muscles to allow the spine to reconfigure itself is all necessary for the healing process to occur. So I think I'm really excited by the fact, I guess I'm trying to say, about you bringing your esoteric knowledge and your fitness and weight training all together, and allowing people to be able to learn how to do this in the gym. Mind you, I'd prefer to be doing it at home, but like you said, that there just isn't the equipment to be able to do that. You do have to go to a gym to get the types of results that you want. And I understand that, like you're saying, to do presses, you need to do 40% of your weight, and how are you going to do that at home? So it is require a gym, but like you said, it requires clients getting hold of you, getting the program, and then following it pretty consistently. And like you said, actually even ignoring the trainers who are going to tell you you're doing everything wrong, or no, that's not the equipment you need.
So we're not saying that they're doing everything wrong. We don't want to put anybody down, and there's good trainers and they're good people, that we just don't do it that way. Okay, it's a different system, it's a different philosophy, and the system, the prescription, the way it is, will give you certain results. So if those are the results that you want, then you want to choose that route. Okay, so that's just basically what it is. Yeah. Right.
So what's the average length of a program, say, for a woman over 40 and, has been a dancer, or, has some of the problems, and even probably most likely has her endocrine system is out of balance, right? She's had, gone through the life changes and all that sort of thing, and probably an empty nest as well. What sort of length of program will she have before she starts to experience some of the results that you're talking about?
Okay, so the results happened quickly. Okay, you start feeling a difference very quickly, a sense of well-being. I would probably be guaranteed that once we go over for what you did, for example, and we put the weights into balance and everything, and now that you know not to do the aerobics and all this, and you go more focused, I think that in your next visit to the gym, you're going to feel very good, and you're going to start feeling that sense of, oh yeah, this is really good. So the results, some of the benefits happen really, really quickly, but it's a never-ending process. It's kind of like brushing your teeth, okay? Yeah. you know, you don't go to the dentist to get a teeth cleaning and then brush your teeth for a week and then stop. You know, you kind of got to continue to do it. For me, is I've been at it for 10 years. I still go, I still get the benefits, and my body's still changing, you know. And Stephen is 70 years old, and he's been doing it since he was a teenager. And today, this morning, he got up and he went to the gym, and we continue to do it because it's forever. Okay. Now, the way we work, and that's why we work the way we work. We give the person the education. Okay, so we have different length programs. Obviously, we have a 6 weeks programs, we have a year-long program. So there's ways of working at different levels, but it's always educational, so that at the end of whatever program length you've done, you have enough education so you can continue to go and use it forever.
Yes. For the rest of your life.
That's it, for the rest of your life. Gravity doesn't stop, you know.
No, I've noticed that. Yeah. So how do people get hold of you?
So it's very easy. They go to drfitnessusa.com. Doctor is DR, drfitnessusa.com. That's the website. And there's a lot of information on the website. There's also an opportunity to register, to sign up, schedule a 30 minutes free consultation, you know, to answer questions and see if we're a good fit. So if the person feels compelled or intrigued to know more, then that would be a good thing to do. And also YouTube, Facebook, you know, we're on the social media. We have 300 videos on YouTube, so there's a lot of information. And but you know, schedule a free consultation through the website drfitnessusa.com.
So what are the key things that you want our listeners to leave with after this interview? Because you've covered a lot of territory. You want to sum it up with some of the key points? I'll start off by saying, remember that if you're on a spiritual path, that understanding and being able to listen to your body and the messages from your body is extremely important. This is not, you know, the quickest way to leave planet Earth is to become ungrounded, is to become so spiritual you're not connected. You're living your life ungrounded. So best to get grounded. So that would be one of the first things that I want to say, that I learned and understand why what you're doing is so important. It's another way to ground yourself, another way to inhabit your body, another way to learn and listen to your body. So that would be one of the things.
Absolutely. And also that female-male energy, that attitude in fitness, which is, you know, basically what it's about now, that there is another way, and that you can really fry your nervous system by doing this. You see, we're all in a male-driven society, working, and especially for the ladies, you know, we are entrepreneur, working women, family. We take care of a lot of things, which primarily is doing, giving. So it's always running on the male energy, and then when we go into getting in shape, it's still male energy. So the woman needs to really learn to get back into her body and really access her feminine side. And you know, it works for men too, also. You know, but since I like working with women, so really take into consideration the fact that there is another way, and especially when it has to do with your fitness and your strength, because we lose strength as of age 30. So if you're not strength training, then by the time you're 40, 50, 60, you really are way down on your strength, okay? So there's different things that happen. First of all, you're down on your strength. Then you're running a lot of male energy, so you're out of balance, And then, people wonder why they get sick. So it's about reconnecting with the body and increasing the strength that also quiets the nervous system, okay? Because the nervous system is responsible for the healing of the body, all right? So a lot of people go into meditation and things like this, and that's good for the nervous system, but it doesn't strengthen it in the way where, physical strength and emotional strength are related, and a lot of people don't understand that. So what happens is, people get to a certain age and then the body starts falling apart and they wonder why. But I wanted to say one more thing. Strength is like insurance, okay? If your body is healthy, it is strong, and then something happens, like an accident and a surgery or whatever, might happen, then you will be able to recover much quicker because the muscles have memory. They don't only have memory, they have intelligence. The person let their body go too long, the strength goes down, something happens, an accident or whatever, it's very, very, very hard to recover, okay? So, there's a lot of things to think about. And also, another thing that I would like to talk about briefly for your people is that, we hear a lot about as above, so below, and we work into realigning the chakras and being in balance. But take into consideration that the physical body and the etheric bodies are connected, okay? And through our lifestyle and through, how we do, the chakras also start spinning slower and they kind of collapse. And this is also in relationship with the physical body. So it's very, very important when working out or, whatever the person is doing, to really consider working towards postural realignment, because it's connected with the proper ability for the energies to flow through the body and through the brain.
Absolutely. So would you say that your program or your experience in working with women over 40, that there's actually an anti-aging process that's happening as the hormones adjust, the muscles, strengthen, and there's more balance in the body?
Absolutely. Everybody that goes through our program end up looking and feeling 15 years younger. No sweat. It's the way it is. Yeah. It creates new neurons in the brain. It changes your appearance. It changes the way you hold your body, the way you become more charismatic. And because of the energy flow through the brain, the person just reawakens. It's like a new lease on life, literally. Yeah.
Well, that's very, very exciting. So I think we're at the end of the show, but it's such a great conversation. You may have one more thing that you just want to say. Do you?
Well, I don't know. Go to drfitnessusa.com and give us a call, because we're here to help you, and we're very, very passionate about what we do. That you can be sure of.
All right. Well, that was a great way to end the show, and it was lovely having you on the show. And stay tuned, and you'll get more reports from the gym coming from yours truly, Tyhson Banighen, the wellness guy. And it was great to have you on the show. We'll have you back.
Well, thank you.
For now.
Okay.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.